How you doing this evening, Buckley?
Great. Yourself?
I'm wonderful.
As you see me pushing buttons up here in the corner, I'm attempting to record everybody so all the members can be seen versus just me. So I feel sorry for Mary Meldy when she has to record these and has to stare at my face for an hour and a half. So
Yeah.
Hour and a half.
well, well, that's yeah, this is typically how long these meetings go now. So
You weren't aware, Mr. Geisler?
Yeah. Those utility commission meetings were pretty long too.
Or on occasion, the 3-hour ones, right? Till after 10.
we've had a couple late ones. Hopefully this should be a little bit more streamlined here this evening. So
I don't know,
I think,
5B might cause trouble.
yeah, there you go. Upper right corner. I do see that, Shannon, and I keep pushing on that upper right button, and yeah, I'm not having great luck.
It should
Well,
give
as
you
long
an
we're still
option.
recording at least here, so that's
It should give
So
you
I
an
can see-
option for speaker view versus gallery view. If you click on it once, it should have a drop down that gives you either speaker view or gallery view. And if you do
yeah,
gallery,
that's what okay. That was my understanding as well, and it's not working for me. Yeah, with the way it was explained to me, it's like, oh, it's really simple, it's easy. It's like, that's me apparently. Well, unfortunately, Mary's gonna have to look at me the entire time again. But Mr. Peterson, if you wanted to start the meeting, I think we're in great shape.
Perfect, we will do so. Good evening, everybody. We'd like to welcome you to the City of Hermantown Planning and Zoning Commission meeting for January 21st, 2021. It is currently 7:03 in the evening. We will start off with a roll call of members this evening. We've got myself, Mr. Colquist,
Here.
Mr. Simmons,
Here.
Valerie Arlette,
Here.
Samuel Clark,
Here.
Shannon Sweeney Jorgensen,
here.
Beth Wensloff,
Here.
and Councillor Geisler. Second this evening, we will look for a motion for the approval of the agenda this evening. Can I get a first on that?
Colquist with the motion.
Thank you. Can we get a second?
Jorgensen second.
All in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Number 3 this evening is the approval of the minutes of the December 15th, 2020 regular meeting. Can we get a motion on
moved.
that, please?
So moved.
Can we get a second, please?
Second, that was Valerie.
Thank you very much. All in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Number 4 this evening is public discussion. I'm not seeing any. Is there anything added this evening, Eric?
No, there is not under public discussion.
Thank you very much. We will move on to 5A. 5A is an application by Robert Dolbar for a special use permit for filling and grading within a natural environment shoreland overlay zone located at 4860 something Hermantown Road. The property is located in an R3 residential zoning district. Eric, what do you have for us on this?
Great, thank you. What I'd like to do is I'm going to share a couple graphics here. For this evening. Can everyone see this evening, what I have in front of us, the location map?
I can.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. So this property, yes, this is an existing 7.5 acre property That's located just to the east and a little bit to the south of the intersection of Stebner Road and Hermantown Road. This is an existing vacant lot. It has been on the market for some time here. There is existing wetland on this property, as well as two previously unmapped tributaries to Keene Creek. So what's before us this evening is a request for a special use permit to grade and fill in a shoreland area. And I apologize, I'm trying to get to my other photos. I'm not having that good luck. So if I can ask you to look to your packets, what the applicant is proposing is to create a driveway and a building pad for a single family home on this property here. As I had mentioned previously, there is this unmapped tributary that bisects the site in a couple different areas. And, but there is a building pad that's located between those two tributary areas. Likewise, as I had mentioned previously, there is wetland on this property. The proposed house pad and a portion of that driveway will be in that upland area. The applicant is able to locate the proposed home a minimum of 150 feet from the tributaries, which is a requirement per under the shoreland area. This is a natural shoreland area. It's a 300-foot distance on both sides of the tributary creek. So per the shoreland area map in your packet, that green crosshatch area shows the full extent of that shoreland area. So the entirety of this property is within that shoreland area. So thus any sort of grading, filling activities or building activities will require this special use permit this evening. The applicant will have to have a wetland delineation to verify the extents of the wetland on this property. Right now we have national wetland inventory, so we do know there are wetlands on the property, but the delineation will be able to first happen in mid-May. At that point, that's when the growing season and the soils are able to be checked out at that point. So at that point, the applicant would work with the city of Hermantown as well as a technical evaluation panel for the delineation of this property, as well as any impacts associated with this grading and filling within that area. Since this is in a shoreland area, any wetland disturbance is limited to 400 square feet. After that, the applicant would have to purchase wetland credits for any sort of wetland impacts that he would have on the property. But as I had mentioned previously, what the applicant is looking for is the construction of a driveway in a single family home within this property. It meets the requirements as far as the setbacks from the tributary. And there are requirements that any grading or disturbance tries to keep that as a minimum. It limits how much cutting of trees can happen on this property and the amount of time that soil can remain in a uncovered state. That concludes my report this evening. I do know that the applicant has joined us as well. If there's any other questions that the commission may have from myself or the applicant.
Thank you very much, Eric. I appreciate that. Is the applicant Robert with us this evening?
Yes, I am on. Thank you. Sorry, I joined a couple minutes late.
That's okay. Thank you. My name is Joe Peterson. Do you have anything you'd like to add to Eric's report this evening?
I guess not. No, I think Eric laid it out very well there. Yeah, that piece of land there. I'm very excited to, right now I live actually in Duluth, just down Piedmont a little bit. So I'm excited to get into the Hermantown area. My wife and I were looking at quite a few different lots, not a lot of availability out there. And we know we'll be jumping through quite a few hoops trying to get into this land. But when we reviewed it all, working with Eric a lot and the realtor and everything, it seemed like it was going to be a possibility for us. So that's we know this is just step one of this long process here.
Gotcha. Thank you very much. We're going to open it up for commission members to ask any questions of either the applicant or of Eric this evening. Does any of the commission members have any questions?
This is Valerie Willett. I actually drove past where I figured this property is, and just curious, how big are these tributaries? I didn't see anything, but of course with snow and all, they probably frozen. I was just curious, are we talking a couple feet? Are we talking 6 feet? Do you have any feel for that?
Yeah, or maybe that's Eric's question. Sorry, I'm not sure, but
Well, I can start that, and then Robert, if you'd like to add in, because you've been having some discussions with the DNR on this as well. Look at the tributary where it is on the western side of the property. That's probably about the widest portion that it is, and even that is not overly wide. But there's an existing culvert that runs underneath Hermantown Road. These tributaries we've been seeing range anywhere from 1 to 5 feet really in width, and the majority of them are much or more in the 2 to 3 foot range, and that's why they have not shown up on previous mapping. That they're generally discovered as sites come up for development that way, as opposed to being previously mapped. So for the most part, these tributaries are much narrower in width. And Robert, if you want to add anything further in your discussions with the DNR on this as well.
yep, I have had a couple emails back and forth with the DNR. We're going to have to get them out there to actually map that tributary that's been on their list, but we'll have to get that done sooner than they had wanted to do it. I think in 2022 they had said, but I'll get them out there in 2021 here, hopefully as early as possible, so my building plans can continue. But they'll map that out, and I have walked it a few times. Yeah, it does certainly vary in length, as you, especially in the front of the property, which is my main concern, of course. And it's anywhere from 6 to 12 inches deep, and then anywhere from it seems anywhere from 2 to 6 feet wide as it meanders around.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for that. Any other questions or comments for Eric or the applicant this evening, commission members?
I do have another question. So based on the shoreland area map, it looks like the entire site is actually technically within shoreland area. And then when I look at the proposed site plan, what we have drawn in as far as a driveway, I just want to make sure that when we're thinking about this or we're looking at that proposed driveway, is that the route that is the minimal impact for the driveway? Is that still in flux or open to adaptation based on what we find out from the DNR and potentially from other sources? What's the full story on the driveway? Because that appears to be the thing that will impact wetlands or shoreland area the most.
Yes, how we look at any sort of wetland crossings or impacts is the technical evaluation panel recommends that we have the least amount of wetland impacts associated with this. The applicant, where he has shown this driveway located in the east portion of the property, that appears, at least for national wetland inventory, that there is some upland area located in that portion of the site. So what he has shown is really a good example of how to minimize wetland impacts associated with the site. That he's trying to have his crossing at the narrowest point where is possible, in utilizing the upland area, both along Hermantown Road as well as in the building pad in that southerly portion of the driveway. So he's done a very nice site layout here to try to minimize his impacts as best as possible.
Great, fantastic. I just want to make sure that that's in our records, that we've discussed that.
Thank you very much. Commission members, any other questions?
Mr. Peterson, this is John. I'm assuming, Eric, this will be served by city sewer and water?
Yes, it would be.
Okay, thank you.
Eric, I'm fairly familiar with this site. It seems to be pretty low in the front there. I mean, I'm assuming he's got to do all the same hoops as any other neighborhood there. They've got to go through wetland delineation and get everything else, all the ducks in a row, correct?
Yes, that is correct. So this is essentially the first part of it. At least this is the city approval process, but he will have to go through the wetland delineation as well as the technical evaluation panel. And that just cannot happen until May when the growing season starts off. So the city will not issue any building permits until that has been rectified at that point.
Okay. Commission members, any other questions before we open it up for a public hearing? Not hearing any, we will open it up for a public hearing at 7:16. Is there anybody out there that would like to speak on this application for a special use permit this evening?
Mr. Peterson, this is Scott Wotishak.
Good evening, Scott. How can we help you this evening?
The only question I have, being a property owner adjacent to this property, is when wetlands or shorelands are filled, how are the adjacent properties taken into consideration as far as how they might be altered?
It's a wonderful question. Perhaps Eric could give us a little insight into that.
Sure. What happens is when there's ever these crossings of wetlands, particularly on driveways, is there are the requirements that there are culverts placed within that driveway area, whether it's depending on the distance of the crossing. The goal of that is to maintain the water flow that exists on that property. So we're not cutting off any of these wetlands and essentially creating a dam on one side and draining it on the other. So that is always the requirement of the technical evaluation panel, that these culverts are installed and sized properly so we can still keep the same hydrologic flow associated with the wetland. And once again, not create damming situations that way.
Thank you very
for
much.
that. Any other questions, Mr. Otishak?
No, sir.
Thank you for joining us this evening. Is anybody else out there for any questions on 5A this evening? Eric, do we have anybody else in the waiting room?
Gentleman, Mark W. has joined us this evening. I'm not quite sure if he was on for this particular item here or not, but he's the only new person who's come in since we've started.
Gotcha. Once again, is there anybody that would like to speak on 5A this evening?
This is Valerie Willett. Mr. Dublar, we want to welcome you to Hermantown, and hopefully this will be as painless as possible to get you on your property and building your new home.
Thank you much. Thank you very much, Valerie. And Scott, I look forward to meeting you eventually.
Likewise, Robert.
Okay, any other questions or comments this evening? We will close the public hearing at 7:18. Commission members, we will look for a motion on 5A. It's an application by Robert Doblar for a special use permit for filling and grading within a natural environment shoreline overlay zone.
So moved. Jorgensen.
Thank you for that. Can we get a second?
Second, Witzloff.
Thank you very much. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Anybody opposed? Not hearing any, motion passes. Thank you very much for that. Moving on to 5B, it's an application by the City of Hermantown for a special use permit for the installation of a bridge structure within a natural environment shoreline overlay zone located at 260 west of Haynes Road and Swan Lake Road intersection. The property is located in a BLM district, which is business and light manufacturing. Eric, what do you have on this one this evening?
Well, great. Thank you again, Mr. Chair. This is an application actually by the city along with the St. Louis County. The city and St. Louis County have been looking at this bridge, which is currently classified as functionally obsolete based on an October 9th, 2019 bridge inspection report. When these reports indicate that bridges are obsolete, failing, etc., the city generally takes actions to work on the replacement of these structures. In this case, this is a joint project between the city of Hermantown as well as St. Louis County to handle this bridge replacement here. The wetland delineation has already been conducted on this property. This site would actually fall under the roadway improvement section of the wetland impacts, and therefore it would already receive the approval for any wetland work that would be done. Essentially, what's this being proposed is the removal of the existing bridge, the installation of some new supports, and then the construction of this new bridge that would be happening. That's anticipated to be happening either in 2021 or possibly early 2022, depending on the building season here. This is vacant property all around this. This is Miller Creek that this bridge crosses over. And the city has done a couple of these other projects where we've been involved either in Midway River or Keene Creek. And we will continue on that sort of work that we've established in the past for the protection of the natural environments, whether it's the flowing of the water or the wetlands, to minimize or avoid any impacts associated with it. But as part of this, we are required to issue a special use permit as well, and give the public an opportunity to speak to this if there's any concerns associated with it.
Thank you very much for that, Eric. Commission members, any questions for Eric on 5B this evening? Not hearing any, we will open up the floor at 7:22 for a public hearing. Is there anybody out there that would like to speak on this 5B application by the city of Hermantown this evening? Is anybody in the waiting room, Eric?
No, there is not.
Thank you for that. We will close the public hearing at 7:22 and go back to commission members. Any questions for Eric on this evening? Not hearing any, I look for a motion on 5B, which is an application by the city of Hermantown for a special use permit.
Dan Clark, I motion to approve agenda item 5B as stated.
Thank you. Can we get a second?
This is Valerie Willett. I'll second that.
Thank you very much. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Anybody opposed? Not hearing any, the motion passes. Thank you very much for that. Number 6 this evening is continuing business. Eric, do you have anything that's not on the list?
No, but I will add a couple under new business when we reach that point.
Perfect. Well, we're there now. New business, number 7.
And this is just a quick update for everyone. Obviously, first of all, as a staff person, I'd like to welcome all of our new members and Mr. Geisler again here for joining us. We really appreciate it, and having a full contingent of people on the planning and zoning. Some of you may have heard that the city back in December, we enacted a 6-month moratorium on certain planned unit developments of projects that were greater than 3 units per acre in size. The city has engaged the Arrowhead Regional Development Commission, or otherwise known as the ARDC, to help us with this study that is ongoing right now. And as part of this study, the city is going to be sending out a survey to residents, business owners, developers, realtors, interested parties associated with this, to gather some of their thoughts, comments associated with planned unit developments and development in general within the city. I anticipate that this questionnaire is going to be going out sometime next week. We've identified 50 different potential stakeholders, once again, either city council staff, P&Z members, public, etc., that this will be going to. There will be 2 public hearings associated with this at one of our later dates. As far as planning and zoning, we will have this potentially in April or May. And then this will also go to the city council for the, I believe it'll be their 2nd meeting in June. And so I just wanted to give the planning and zoning members basically a heads up that they'll be seeing this survey coming through to their email addresses probably sometime in the next 7 to 10 days here. We're going to allow about 2 weeks to get these comments back, and then start working with the ARDC on compiling these comments and moving forward with this study. Any questions on that or the city's process? I'd be happy to answer those.
I'm just curious if you're holding up any projects due to this.
We'd had the proposal back by James Talego in October. he knew that this was coming and he understands it. And his hope is that this will help guide development for the city and the plan unit development aspect of it. He is familiar with the timelines and he understands the city's rationale behind this. As far as any other developments, there's been nothing of a PUD, at least of this scale, in the works. We will be seeing a small planned unit development for 3 twin home units coming forward in the February meeting, but that falls under, that does not meet the thresholds for the moratorium. So that is something that's able to move forward with this.
Thank you for the information.
And then secondly, especially since we have 2 new members here this evening, I'll be sharing in February, for lack of better words, it's almost like an Excel spreadsheet. It talks about the different applications that the planning and zoning traditionally sees and the actions of both the planning and zoning as well as city council. So I will be sharing that at the next meeting just to help all the members understand, once again, the different type of applications we get in, the applications that the planning and zoning is specifically set up for the approvals, and then the type of applications that fall under the recommendations. Projects or applications that fall under the recommendations, then ultimately go to the city council for their review and action at that point. So I will be sharing that at the February meeting, just as for our new people, and then as a refresher for our current members here as well.
Thank you again. Moving on to number 8, communications.
Sorry, Sam Clark, just one quick question for Eric, just for clarification. You said the survey is going out, is it going out to 50 people or is this more of a mass mailing?
No, we're doing it to 50 people at this point, but we have over 35% of those are residents. So we wanted to get a good cross section of it that way. We will have the ability to post this in the Hermantown Star as well, and to try to get some additional comment that way. But also we will have the public hearings associated with this.
Okay, and I think you said there was two public hearings.
Yes, that's correct.
So just out of curiosity, when you have the city of Hermantown, how do you choose which 50 people?
What we've done is we looked at realtors that traditionally have been active in this area, particularly more of the residential based realtors. We have looked at some of the people who have been coming forward to these planning and zoning meetings, particularly some of these past applications, i.e. the arbors and the pillars projects, and tapping into that group as a source of this questionnaire here as well. And then looking at and speaking to local developers here as well to get their thoughts on it. So trying to get a good cross section of people involved with this. This is just specifically relating to the R3 zoning district. It's not any of the other residentially zoned districts. But I would welcome any other, if you have any other people that you think this would be beneficial to send this out to, and I'd be happy to share that list of the 50 that people we've identified to date.
This is just more for I think it's interesting. If you could share the list, I think that'd be awesome.
Sure. Yeah, I'll be happy to.
Thanks, Eric.
Yep.
Well, I just want to say too, I know in the past, I think the first applicant, agenda item 5A, I think that was a good example of Eric working really well with the applicants for these types of things. I've said it before, I know from experience that not every city works as well with people that want to develop or do business in Hermantown. So I think that's awesome.
Perfect. Thank you very much for that. Not seeing any communications. We'll move on to number 9, which is commission member reports. Nothing from myself. Mr. Colquist.
No report, but I'd like to welcome the 2 new commission members. As Joe said, my name is Corey Colquist. I've been on the Planning and Zoning Committee now for, I think, 3 years. And then I work at Skyline Lane, so welcome.
Perfect. Buckley Simmons, anything this evening?
No reports, but thanks for the welcomes.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us. Valerie Orlett,
No report. And would like to also welcome you. It's a nice group. We get a lot accomplished here.
Samuel Clark,
No report.
Shannon Sweeney Jorgensen,
No report, but again, as the previously newest member of this commission, I would like to welcome both of you. I'm no longer the new girl on the block, so yay. But I'm really excited to have you guys on board. This commission is, I think, really making positive moves for the city of Hermantown, and I appreciate the additional input. So thank you for joining us.
and Beth Wensloff.
No report, obviously, but I'm glad to be a part of it. Been in Hermantown now for about 20 years and excited to be part of the commission.
Thank you for joining us as well. And Councillor Geisler, anything this evening? Welcome back.
Well, thank you. You know, I would not say something. So, yeah, for those of you that don't know me, I was on the Planning and Zoning Commission from 2000. I had to write this down, and I'm thinking to myself, wow, how can that be? From 2000, 2008, and then I was elected to City Council in 2009, and I was the Planning and Zoning Liaison from 2009, from 2016. So if you were on board earlier, I said to Joe, I was like a bad cold and you can't get rid of me. So I think Joe's the only member 4 years ago when I was back then the liaison. I've been serving on the Utility Commission as the liaison for the past 4 years. And the mayor thought it might be good if I got back to the Planning and Zoning Commission to keep all of you guys in line. So we had the one vacancy and we had two candidates and we interviewed both. And then lo and behold, Tracy had to resign last week, late in the week. And we thought, well, we had two great candidates and we thought we'll get them both on board. So welcome to Buckley and to Beth, and thank you for volunteering, to you two newbies, and then to the rest of you too. I know it's kind of nice on a cold winter night to stay home and do this, but you know, we're going to get back to normal and you're going to have to venture out on these cold winter nights. But yeah, thanks for serving, and yeah, it is an important job, and you know, and I appreciate everybody taking it serious, and you know, it's Mr. Clark knows that you know, what we do can make a difference, and what the public does can make a difference, because it you know, we have to listen to everything, and then when you know, the public comes around to speak, and you know, so it does make a difference, and it's well appreciated by everybody. So thank you, and I think that's it.
Thank you for that, Mr. Geisler. I'm not sure how long I've been doing this. I don't even remember actually, but we need to get back to the days where we used to do site surveys. Remember that?
Yes, yeah, site surveys. That's fun.
And we'll be happy to keep doing those here in the future as well. So,
Yeah.
but I just won't
It's been
pull you
many
out
years
before
since
the-
we've done that.
Yeah.
And I just want to give a shout out to Shannon. I've loved seeing your background and seeing your two dogs back there. So,
I was going to comment. So we have 4 dogs, but 2 relatively new additions to our family. And so I want to apologize for my coworkers in the background who have decided that tonight they really need to play. Normally, I'm not the only one at the house, but tonight I'm home alone. And so they're all right here enjoying the meeting. So I apologize
that's
for the
okay.
distraction.
Our new city council member has about a 10-month-old baby, and the baby's been joining him in the council meetings as well, because I think his wife is out working. So dogs, babies, you know, we can manage.
Yeah, they're busy. They're 5 months old and they are busy dogs.
Perfect. Anything else this evening from anybody? It's 7:35 p.m. We're going to look for a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Colquist with a second.
Thank you very much. All in favor?
Aye.
Right.
Aye. The meeting is adjourned at 7:35 p.m. Thank you very much, everybody. I can't wait until I can see everybody in person again.
And back to Tuesday next month.
Yes.
No, unfortunately not. And I'm
No, I
glad you
think it's
said that.
Thursday
because
next month too.
We've got the president's holiday.
Yep.
So I guess maybe as I have everybody here, is there a preference for either a Wednesday or a Thursday night meeting? Or even if we pull it forward a week, if Tuesdays generally work better for people?
Doesn't matter to me.
Wednesday or Thursday is fine for me that week.
The 17th is Ash Wednesday, if that matters.
Maybe we'll, let's go on the 18th then, that Thursday at 7 o'clock.
Okay, and let's do it at Skyline in person.
I like it. Drinks for everyone after.
Yep, we just have to socially distance, no big deal.
We have plenty of space. All right. Have a good night, everyone.
Okay,
Thank you all, appreciate it.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.